It's a very, very difficult situation to be in. If I can give any advice to anybody, it's don't do what I did.
And what was that?
Well, I didn't prepare for this. I did not prepare for this at all. You know, the financial gurus say pay yourself first, and that's probably the wisest thing in the world. If I could talk to somebody 20 or 30 years old who thinks they've got their whole life ahead of them and everything's going to be hunky-dory and beautiful, it's not always hunky-dory and beautiful. And so you need to prepare for that. You know, get your life insurance while you're young and healthy. Get a 401k, get an IRA, get something, and have your own safety net. You know, my parents are gone. I don't have a husband now. My children aren't in a position to take care of me. So I am that person who needs to start over, needs to reinvent herself, needs to create something for herself to do every day, but I'm not financially stable myself. So I guess the best advice is don't quit your day job and keep socking away something for yourself for that rainy day or for that day whenever you finally feel like you can walk out and start something new.
And to anyone who's watching, if you don't know, ask an expert. Go Google Susie Orman or call her, or there's a million other people in your area who can give you. But the bottom line is you know, I read somewhere that 90% of women at one time in their life is going to be financially responsible for themselves. And you can't depend on somebody else for that. You need to know your own money. And I also think, you know, times are changing, that's something we need to be talking about.
Right.
Women are more likely talking about sex than they are about money. And we grew up not being able to talk about money. We were told it's taboo.
I grew up not talking about either one.
Yeah, that's true. I grew up talking about neither one too, but it wasn't proper. But now, as times are changing, they still don't want to talk about money. And it's not a bad thing, especially if you don't know. You know, ask someone who knows. Maybe a friend will know. You know, go, like I said, go get an expert advice. Tons of financial advisors out there. Talk to someone who may know.
It's all part of networking. You know, if you don't let somebody know what you need, you're never going to get that need filled.
Exactly.
So you'd be amazed when you start talking from your heart sincerely to your friends and their friends and their friends. It's just a networking process. And before you know it, somebody will step forward that will have great advice or know of a job or give you the support that you need emotionally to pursue what it is you're trying to do.
Exactly. And I think you said something really important earlier. You said that you were just waiting for it to come to you. And I think a lot of people do that. They want something better, they want something greater, but they're like, okay, I know my mom does that. She's guilty of it. She wants a better life, but she doesn't know how to go out there and get it. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to begin. So she just sits on the couch or sits on the computer and just hopes for it. Yeah. You know, so how do you go about doing that? I mean, what if you sit there and think back to when you were 20 and think of what you wanted, but you really don't have an answer or don't remember because you were married at 22. And so, I mean, what did you really want before that? Because you went from high school to college and then you got married. Mm-hmm. So you didn't know life outside of that. So where do women like that begin?
I think you start talking. I would start praying first. Ask for guidance, ask for help, listen to that other voice. And then you just start talking. Get out of your house, get involved. Research on the net, research in the newspaper, find out what groups are meeting where, what they're doing. You'll see something that's going to appeal to you, and then go to that meeting. Go talk to someone in that organization. Call them and say, I'm interested in pursuing this. Can you tell me how? And if they can't, maybe they can direct you to someone else. But you have to step out. You cannot sit at home and wait for it to happen.
So what do you think women's number one fear of actually stepping out and making it happen? What are they so afraid of?
Mine is being told no. Rejection. That's my biggest fear. And it's kept me from doing a lot of things. But I also always tell my children the worst feeling in the world is, gee, I wish I had. So force yourself to do that first step. Take that first step. Go to that meeting. Go to an organization. Get out of the house and make yourself make that first step. It becomes easier with every step.
Right. But and grab a friend to go with you, because a lot of women don't want to go by themselves.
That's right.
Grab someone to go with you.
It's always better in pairs. Get that support.
And if nothing else, go take a class. I mean, a lot of colleges offer extension classes. Take a class, figure out, okay, well, I may not know what I want to do, but I can say, I took that class and I know I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to do that. You know?
Process of elimination can certainly.
I did that for a while. I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but okay, that interests me. And then I took a class and then I was like, okay, I'll keep that as a hobby.
Not really.
That's not what I want to do forever. Okay, and I did that for a few classes because I didn't know where to start. I had no idea, absolutely none, what I wanted to do. And so I said, well, now I have to start somewhere. And I also think that it changes who you are, but it also changes relationships. How has you reinventing yourself or stepping out of your comfort zone, if you will, changed the relationship with your children?
Well, I think that they're very proud to see that I am still exploring, still growing, still finding myself. And as I become more secure in who I am and what I'm doing, I think that that enables them to feel the power to find who they are and what they want to be. You know, I think you look at your parents as role models and the greatest examples that you could have of either greatness or terribleness. And if I can be a good example of someone who keeps trying to change and try to grow, then I think that's a good example for them.
Something for them to live up to in the long run too. So what do you say to people out there who may, you know, have a certain perspective on age, or what they, you know, they're about to reach 50 and they think that it's some
Over.
kind of, they think it's over. What do you say to them?
It's just a number. I mean, it's a horrifying number. But it's just a number, and it's going to be whatever you make of it. You know, you can sit down and cry and feel sorry for yourself and stay at home and never leave the house again because you think your life is over, but you've just decided that it's over. You can decide that it's starting all over again too.
So what do you still have left that you're looking forward to do or that you want to do?
I don't know, a talk show sounds kind of fun. Would you recommend it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have a lot of ideas. Obviously, I'd love to do the public speaking, do some community awareness, talk to people, be the face of a company. If it's something that I believe in, if I could educate the community to the good of that company and what they're trying to do and how they can help the city or individuals, that would be fantastic. But I also thought a lot, once I discovered the power of the net and how it brings people from all over the world together in a phenomenal way, that's free. It's amazing. I thought about if there were a way that I could empower and enable people from all over, let's just start with the country, who have talents or abilities, but they don't know, say a woman in Ohio may not know how to get her Afghans to needy babies, maybe in a prenatal ward somewhere, and she's out, 150 miles out in the country.
Right.
If I could be like a clearinghouse where that woman could say, I have 500 Afghans that I make every year and I need to give them to someone, then I could let that be known, give her the publicity and the push that she needs, and then couple her up with a hospital that could use those Afghans, or children in an orphanage, or who knows who could use something like that. But I think it would be fascinating to be able to give people an outlet and exposure and help people that might otherwise never find them.
Yes, you could do a nonprofit organization and very easily do something like that, because then you have, you can get government money to do that, but then also you're linking everybody together.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, and in your email you said not only that, but what about these people who are sitting at home, like you said, knitting Afghans, and they, they're like, okay, well, I'm just sitting there waiting for my husband to retire, and I'm just going to keep knitting these Afghans. And I think women out there are doing that. Maybe not Afghans, but they're sitting at home going, okay, I got, a year left until my child graduates. Well, then what do I do? How do women stop identifying with their husbands or I'm not saying separate yourself totally, just stop identifying with their husbands or with their children, because when and if that becomes a reality, their children leaving is inevitable, but if they're no longer with their husbands, so that's not such a huge shock. So how can they somehow separate themselves a little bit to not fully lose themselves in that?